Welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper. On today's podcast, we're going to be discussing the opening day defeat against Arsenal. We'll be previewing the Chelsea game. We'll be discussing that, John Percy article, and of course, we'll be taking your questions at the end of the show. And Dave might even drop a few transfer bombs for us, but who knows? The transfer reaper is in full flow. Let's start with him first, Dave. How's things, mate?
Yeah, well, good, thank you, mate. I'm a bit tired, as you know. I was in Doncaster for something work-related today. But yeah, other than that, keeping well, other than the football news, obviously. But yeah, just tired, unfortunately.
What were you doing up in Doncaster that was...
just got a new company that we're dealing with, so just meeting the staff and then just checking out their products and stuff like that. All the boring stuff. But lunch is paid for, so can't complain. Really.
What did you have?
Mate, it was proper Yorkshire cafe because I didn't have this, but there was spam and egg sandwiches there. I was like, mate, have you ever seen that? Ever seen that at a cafe before?
I love spam. I think spam's brilliant.
I had
wow.
Cheese and onion panini with chips, but like it came in a massive tray. There's fucking loads, man. But yeah, so I'm feeling a bit ropey now because I've just smashed that out and then had lasagna after as well.
Nice. Been well fed then, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Can't complain.
In a food coma. Mr. Jordan Russell, how are you, sir?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I actually enjoyed watching the football at the weekend, despite the result. It's probably because I didn't travel down there. The pub by me has somehow managed to put it on the telly. So that was
disclose the pub.
I will not disclose. But it's fantastic. I was probably obliterated by 70 minutes. So that's probably why I enjoyed it. Get up to anything since we last spoke, Jord? Been travelling. I know you're a well-travelled man, aren't you, these days?
Yeah, no travel this week. But I'm off to Hamburg on Thursday for a wedding, so I'm there for a few days. So
nice.
Off to Hamburg, and now just like I said on the last pod, just golf really, and just trying to get my handicap down and try and get better. I've got Portugal in a few weeks, so trying to get some practice in.
Fuck me, you don't enough travel well, do you? Must be earning some decent money, mate. Must be earning some decent money.
I think I'm driving range quite a lot. I'm absolutely dreadful, so don't ask me to have a game because I'm gash. I'm improving a little bit.
I would say like Talking Wolves round next summer, but it's pointless.
Yeah,
it's absolutely pointless because Dave's hopeless. I was having lessons, but I slipped 2 discs in my back, so I'm a bit scared to swing. I've never used to be. And Geordie's an absolute maestro by all accounts. Would you agree?
Well, no, not really. No, I'm getting better. I think Sam Beacon's the best player out of the Talking Wolves contributors from his handicap. I believe so. I think he's sneaky all right, to be fair, Sam Beacon.
I'd have to put that to the test. I reckon you two should go up against each other and see who the king is. Because I don't think you're happy that someone's better than you.
I'm not. No, I'm not. To be honest with you, now.
We'll
have to take him round. We'll have to go and play
Three Hammers Dinosaur Adventure Golf.
Yeah. I was going to say I'll take him around the Dinosaur Golf instead. But now we can get a game in whenever. Really, we've got some means to get in on a course to play, and we can go and do it. So if we want to try a Talking Wolves Invitational at any point, I'm sure we can do it.
I think we should do what Dave said and do the crazy golf personally, because my putting game's actually all right. I'm all right with the putter. If as long as I can negotiate past the windmill, I'm normally all right.
Well, that's not a bad idea because you can go to the Mount. Well, it used to be Purton, now the Mount. They've got a Desi pub there as well now.
Oh my word!
I saw that recently.
Could be some crossover here.
Yeah, the massive crossover. Yeah,
absolute content fest. Did you say you're going to Hamburg for the wedding?
Yeah. So I'm flying out on Thursday, come back Tuesday. So I'm not watching the Chelsea game live. It's a good job because I'll be throwing eggs at Jeff Shee, I think. But
oh dear,
that's by the by.
How long's that? I'm just going to get the stream back up. 4 minutes 20. Are you going to be visiting the Reaper Barn?
I don't think so.
Because do you know what the Reaper Barn is?
I guess it's the red light district, isn't it?
It's I'm not sure whether it's more like their nightlight district. I was meant to go years ago, but it got cancelled due to COVID. This isn't like the what's the name in Antigua? What's the boardroom?
The boardroom.
Boardroom.
The boardroom. We still don't know what happened with that fire. It seems like it was a very unfortunate accident.
Yeah, and
apparently.
we are still after a sponsor, a full channel sponsor for Talking Wolves. So if the boardroom are listening, and I'd like to get a few more clientele on the books, then me and Dave will happily come over and just sample what the business has got to offer. Well, that would have been when would that would have been now? Would it have been about 6 months ago, George, when you got
But
married?
I got married in end of February. Yeah,
End of
the
Yeah,
twenty
February.
good show.
seventh.
6 months, yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
No, wonderful stuff. Right, now all the pleasantries are over. Let's talk about the game at the weekend, Dave. I think most of us expected the result, but did you expect the performance?
Um, it was okay. It was all right. I think the main thing is when you're away at one of the best teams in the country and it's the opening game of the season is not to embarrass yourself. And I don't think Wolves did. Obviously, there were talking points for other reasons, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But in terms of the actual quality of football, it wasn't awful. I think on another day, at 1-0 down, we take our chances. I mean, the big one from Strand Larsen, he forced a decent save off Raya, and Cunha probably should have done better with a chance in the second half, and it's a completely different game. But we did all right. We did okay. Look, it's hard to talk about positives when you've just lost a game of football, but certainly we've gone, especially under Lopetegui, we embarrassed ourselves a couple of times away from home at the Emirates as well, including one of those. So the fact that we've gone there and been fairly competitive, Arsenal fans, again, barring the incidents, which I'm sure we'll talk about, I've seen some quite complimentary of the way we played, because we had a good spell of about 20, 25 minutes in the second half where we looked like the team that would be challenging for the title, but just in front of goal, we're a little bit too shy, I think, on Saturday.
I think it's easy to be complimentary of a team when you beat them, though.
Of course, yeah.
Pep's the worst at that, isn't he? They put 6 past Brighton, and it's like this team, they are so good. So good. He's always the same, isn't he? George, what were your initial thoughts, overarching thoughts of the 2-0 defeat at the hands of who I think are the title winners elect, personally?
I was a little bit disappointed first half, if I'm honest with you, because I don't really feel we didn't really. Other than, well, we'll go on to the Strand Larsen had a great chance. It was an unbelievable save from Raya, but I feel like we let ourselves down a little bit in that first half. I think we've paid him a little bit too much respect, and then second half, like you say, that 20-25 minute spell, we were on top, weren't we? And the second goal was a bit of a sucker punch, and that killed it really for us. But I think if you'd have offered 2-0 away at the Emirates, say you take it, like.
Fuck you! Is that how far we've fallen?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, it's like people will go there and get battered, won't they? Is what I'm trying to say. Teams in and around us will go there.
We have, haven't we, in recent years?
And we have, yeah. So we gave us a good account of ourselves. I think we'll be disappointed with both goals, but it was positive on the whole, really, in my opinion.
I don't want to be like too critical or like jump to any conclusions, but it felt very samey as last year. Like, it didn't really look like that much had changed. I know we haven't got, obviously Neto's gone, Kilman's gone, no Semedo, Cunha was only off the bench. So it did feel kind of quite similar to last year. I know that Gully, who does a bit for the channel, he put a bit of analysis out today, which kind of debunks what I've just said in terms of having more touches in the opposition box, and the opposition having less touch in their box and whatnot. So in terms of statistics, it's a much better performance against compared to last season against Arsenal, and especially at the Emirates. So I don't know. I think the eye test it was okay, but Dave, I don't think it was anything to get too kind of downtrodden by. But also, didn't come away from that thinking, oh wow, that it was a really close game there, played really well. I just thought it was a bit meh.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, like I said earlier, I don't think you ever come out of a defeat thinking we're going to push on this year and this and this. But at the same time, I don't think there was enough there to think flipping it. We're in relegation trouble, which I have seen some fans say. I don't know whether that's because of the quality of football or just around the sort of negativity of everything else around the football club right now. But there were okay signs there. And I think the bigger and the more, the bigger tests of the next couple of weeks. I think Chelsea, although I still think they're just a couple of big results away from sort of starting to shock everyone and actually climbing up, the table and being a serious contender for the top 6, top 7 this year. You know, I think a couple of results will help them, but we got the double over them last year, so I think we've got a chance there. And then obviously the likes of Forest and stuff coming up. That's when you start to really judge the quality of performances. But we've got to turn things around fairly quick. And I know it sounds absolutely stupid of me maybe bringing this up now, and I have full faith in the manager. But I think on paper now, if you bring in last season, I think he's won 1 in 11, which sounds ridiculous, really. So he's really got to those winnable games. Look, I'm not expecting us to be sort of top 6 by the end of October because we've got some really tough fixtures, but certainly need to start getting some wins. And I think there was enough signs on Saturday which showed me that we can compete with these teams. I felt we competed with Arsenal for good parts of that game. And like I said, I think even at 1-0 down, we had 2 big chances. One which was a save. Cunha should have done a hell of a lot better with his chance. And it's a completely different match. They're the chances that we've got to take, really.
Yeah, and I think that is the difference, isn't it? This league is, it doesn't matter who you play. It is absolutely ruthless. Those chances, those half chances, you've got to take them. I think the Strand Larsen chance, it's a good run across the front post, but I think it's an incredible save, personally. It's a difficult chance to take, so you can't then say, well, he should have scored it, because it's like a bit of a juxtaposition.
Yeah.
I think it's a phenomenal save, but that was really the only guy. Cunha had a chance in the second half on his weaker foot, which he probably should have done better with. But yeah, I think we restricted Arsenal to a handful of chances, which we'll come on to in a bit. I'm trying not for us to go over the game kind of like key event by key event, because I think we've done that to death over the last few years, haven't we? I think I'd like to focus on the negatives from the game and then the positives, and then it's like a key takeaway. So, George, let's start with the negatives first. From my point of view, I thought Totti had a quite poor game. I thought Sarr could have done better on the first. I thought Lamina could have potentially stopped the cross. I think he could potentially do better on the second Sarr as well, which is up for debate. But apart from that, I don't think there were too many negatives.
No, I agree with you, really. I think Sarr, it's what we say about Sarr all the time, really. He has these moments where I just call them brain farts, where he's got no right to come for that ball for the first goal at all, really. And he's come out, and it's just, I mean, it's a brave header by Havertz. He could probably see everything coming, getting clattered and whatever, but he's took it well. I think Lamina was poor for that first goal as well. I think if he looked back at it, you give Saka too much respect, too much space. He should have closed him a little bit quicker. It was a good ball in the box, but avoidable goal, really, for me. And like you mentioned there as well, I think Totti, I think he grew into the game a little bit, if I'm honest with you. First 20 minutes especially, he couldn't even trap the ball, could he? I thought, oh my God, this just looks horrific. But he did grow into the game a little bit. And again, he's going to have easier tests than going to the Emirates against that sort of lineup. So I think O'Neill has pretty much, he's nailed his colours to his mast, saying Mosquera and Totti are my centre-half partners. You've got to give them 5-6 games to see how it goes, really. And I think there were signs, we're going to go into positive, I think there were signs that we saw actually that it could work. But yeah, I'd say Totti had a weak first 20 minutes, first 30 minutes for sure.
I think if we do opt for that for the rest of the season, we might be in a little bit of trouble, personally. And that's not a reflection on Mosquera. And I think you'll see, similar to when you have Bueno and Totti on that left-hand side, you'll see teams target them. I think Totti's quite good out of possession in terms of recovery runs and one-on-one duels, but I think put the ball at his feet, and we know that he's limited. We know, and that's not digging people out. But yeah, I think we saw for the first one, for the first goal, Dave. If you're coming there, you've got to make sure you come out and you're going to get something on it. I feel like he hesitates slightly. There's a split second where he almost like rocks back a bit and then tries to get there, and it's too late. But there's an argument if he stays on his line, mate, that he gets beat anyway. So I think he stopped the cross at source. But it's difficult for Lamina because I'm just watching the goal back now, and I know that Rodrigo Gomez does come back in, but Lamina's out there on his own, and you almost do need to double up on Saka, don't you? Because he can take it past you and whip it in top corner or bottom corner like he did for the second goal. But there's 2 errors there.
Immediately after watching the goal, I pinpointed it at Sarr because he's come off his line. And he's in
you got a lot of stick for that as well, didn't you?
I got stick for that. But I felt probably a good 75-80% of people agreed with me, but there were people in my comments digging me out saying, why do I always use Jose Sá as a scapegoat? And I always
a lot of people do go into bat for Jose Sá quite easily.
Yeah, that's what I
I have
mean,
seen
but-
that on Twitter.
But I sort of, as you know, on this pod, I try and sit on the fence and try and be as fair as I can to players. And I think, you know, and I'll make that clear later on when we talk about certain targets. But for me, I think if you, like you've already said, if you come off your line there, you have, and that far out, you have to come and either get a touch on it to get it away from Havertz's head or get it out of the area. I think there were some people moaning about Mosquera not winning the header, and I agree Lamina probably should have come out a bit quicker to close Saka down. Like Saka, out of anyone on that pitch, should not have been allowed that much space. But yeah, like you said, I still think it's a good header from Havertz. But for me, if Sá stays on his line, he's either tipping that over the bar or holding it. So I think ultimately that goal wouldn't have happened if Sá stayed on his line, regardless of whether Lamina stopped the cross or whether Mosquera won the header. Sá, if he stayed on his line, it's avoided. So yeah, frustrating by, you know, for a few reasons, but yeah, for me, I think the main part of the blame's got to be on Sá for that.
How about the second goal, mate? What? There seems to be a bit of a trend of, and I think the Athletic did a bit of analysis on it of forwards now targeting like the near post for finishes. It's only been the last like couple of years you see a lot more frequently, perhaps because as a defender scoots across, you can then fire it between his legs. I know that wasn't quite what happened here, but
Yeah.
I think it's a comfortable height, but you don't know whether his kind of visibility's impaired, do you, a little bit?
I think that's probably the main thing. We saw it a couple of times. I think United was one last year where I think a lot of it's actually to do with the defender's positioning, but with the attacking happening so quick, sometimes that's unavoidable. Like Kilman got caught out of it a couple of times last year, but I genuinely think that's just with how quick the game went, and he sort of unfortunately caught right in Jose Sá's eye line. I get what you're saying about with Sá on this goal, but I just think it's a quality finish from Saka. He's hit it almost perfectly, great power on it. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it looked like probably Totti was in the eye line of Jose Sá, so we would have seen it really, really late. So I just think you have to put it down as a good goal. I don't think there's anyone particularly to blame here. And very quickly, I know we'd sort of dissected the two goals, but in terms of us going to the Emirates with a back four, you know, prior to this game, a lot of people were worried about us playing the back four and should have gone with a five. I was fairly impressed with how we didn't get pulled from pillar to post. I really expected Arsenal just to be absolutely battering us, catching the defenders out of position all the time. Obviously, that first goal, you know, it was probably because Aït-Nouri had pushed forward a little bit, but I thought the centre-halves at least held their shape fairly well, or if they did lose the ball, you know, they retained possession quite quickly after.
Positives, Jord, having an extra man up top, it allowed us to get a few higher turnovers, didn't it? I know it led to a chance straight off a goal kick of the Cunha, chance that he probably should have done better with. But for me, those were the positives. I thought Strand Larsen's debut was okay against the best centre-back partnership in the league for me. I thought João Gomez had a good game. I thought Doc did excellently on the right-hand side, both offensively and defensively. Having that extra height in there helped us defend that back stick, which has been a weakness for Wolves over the last year or so with Semedo, who's been cut out a few times. But yeah, some Mosquera for me was the biggest shining light in that. Jordan, any of those points you agree with, or anything that I've missed?
No, again, I don't want to sit on the fence because I completely agree with the three that didn't stick out. But yeah, I think everyone you mentioned there was perfect. I think Mosquera looks like an absolute monster. Like in terms, I know it's only 90 minutes and it's a very small subset of data, I guess, that we've seen, but he looks like he's gone away, matured, got game time, and he looks the dogs. He looks really, really good. He gets around the pitch so well, covered every blade of grass. I thought he was excellent. I really do. Someone that I wanted to single out, you've sort of already said it as well, is Matt Doherty, because Matt Doherty is someone that everyone's very quick to criticise in this fan base because I guess he's been here for a long time. I know he went away and come back. He's not the most flashy of players, but I thought that was probably Matt Doherty's best game. I've seen him in a Wolves shirt for a very long. That's definitely since he's been back. He looks a lot fitter. Thought he defended really well against Martinelli. Thought he had a good game, so I feel people are quick to criticise him, but I didn't see many giving him his flowers really on social media after the game. And yeah, I thought he was excellent as well. To be honest with you, I thought he was brilliant.
Dave, Mosquera is a bit of a throwback, isn't he? He's a bit of a bastard. One thing I will say is he's perhaps got control that a little bit, because I think on another day he could have found himself giving his marching orders.
Yeah, there would.
On another day, I would have understood it if he got sent off. I also understood the decision that they went with, not for the fingering. It was just like a reach.
That was
out of the
completely
way,
taken out of context, which I'm sure we'll talk about. The first incident I can see from both sides. I think with my Wolves glasses on, I completely understand what Mascara's done there, and I think obviously Havertz was rightly penalised, and he's sort of fallen. And where's he going to put his hand? Yeah, he could have put it to the side of his head. Unfortunately, it landed around the chest or the throat area of Havertz. I think, he maybe held that on for maybe a second or two longer than he probably should have. So
he realised that, didn't he?
Yeah, very quickly, I think. And then Havertz was in his ear the rest of the game. And yeah, the Jesus one has been, in my opinion, and I don't think I'll get pelters for it, but I think it was taken completely out of context. Yesterday, I think on social media, I was replying to tweets and then having DMs saying he should be banned from football, he should be done for sexual assault, which I think is just so far out of order. Like, if you look at the full context, Doherty's about to take a free kick. Jesus is obviously time wasting and tying his shoelaces as such, and Mosquera just pushed him out of the way. If you get a still image, obviously his hand's on his backside. If you do it in slow motion at like 0.25 speed, obviously it's going to look like he's groping his arse. But if you watch it in real time and look at the context, it's no different to a manager patting a player on the back of on the backside for me. So
the only thing is, it's almost like slightly in the crevice, isn't it? In terms of, what it reminds me of, Dave. Remember when we shared the bed in Porto?
What are you on about? You always bring this up. This guy, man.
Yeah, I don't think
he does have to be careful though, because he's gonna, if he gets a reputation for stuff like that. Yeah, VAR and referees will soon cotton to that anyway.
I was in the fans' reactors. I think there was a couple of comments about him being Colombian, so he's got that fire in him. And I said about South Americans being emotional on a podcast a couple of years ago, and I got pulled up on it by he won't mind me saying, James Fielden, the commentator who used to he still works for the likes of Talk Sport and whatnot, because some commentators had to apologise, didn't they, for saying it was. I mean, it was more out of order than what I said. But in terms of like sweeping generalisations, it seems, I think it's fair to say it is true. But yeah, he has got to tone that down a little bit, control the aggression, as we say. But you can see him being like a surefire for a yellow card every game, can't you? Him and João Gomes, it's an absolute dead cert. But before we move on to the Chelsea game on Sunday, Dave, what were your thoughts on the big number 9's debut? I didn't realise how big he was, to be honest. He's huge.
I thought he did okay. He had the chance which we already spoken about, but I think even in terms of him driving forward with the ball, he looks quite good as well. And again, I'm not sure if it was on the fans' react. Someone had compared him a little bit to Jimenez. I think he's probably not quite as agile as Jimenez was, but certainly I think his turn of pace and so on, he's no slouch. So he looked okay. I think against someone, home at Chelsea, I'm sure we'll have a little bit more of the ball. When you got a bit more control of the game, I'll be interested to see how he links up and how much of a danger he is. But there was that spell in the second half where maybe for sort of, like I said, the 20, 25 minutes, and we were having 4 or 5 players in the box. But why not whip it in, give him another shout? I think we over Hwang and Chiquinho did it a couple of times when he came. We just overplayed it a little bit, just tried a bit too much. Just get the ball moving and see if we can free up the space. But as far as debuts go, a tough place. He was okay. He was all right. I felt bad for him after the Vallecano game because he had a lot of stick, but he had no service. So, it was an okay debut for him anyway.
So that was Wolves' opening day defeat to Arsenal. Moving on to another London club, but at the Molineux on Sunday, George. 2:00 kick-off, I believe. Bank holiday Monday the day before. Tickets still on general sale, which is pretty predictable, really, considering the price increases. I've got a bit of a sneaky feeling about this, George. I think if we can get Cunha back in the starting 11, I think we could start to see a bit of a partnership flourish between him and Strand Larsen, and I think that we could get a result against the Chelsea team that just look at 6s at 7s with the whole club is in disarray. I don't know how they keep doing it. I don't know why they keep doing it.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, we did the double against them last year, but every time we look at Chelsea, or every time I look at Chelsea, I go, you know what? They've got some unbelievable footballers, individuals on paper. You're like, if they just click, and it might be the pessimism in me as being a Wolves fan. I always feel like every time we play them, or when we played them last season, again, we did the double over them. I thought they were going to batter us both games. I just thought it's our luck they're going to click. And I watched them against City yesterday, and they were okay in parts, but yeah, I'm the same as you, really. I feel if we play like we did against Arsenal, I think we'll get 3 points. I think it's as simple as that. I feel like the crowd will get going, and then they'll just fold. I feel you can see that they're very much in a team of individuals. I don't think there's any cohesion. The fact that they've given Enzo Fernandez the captaincy after all the shit in the summer, as well, with the chants and whatever, I couldn't believe it. I generally couldn't believe he was the captain. I didn't even see that news. I was like, what is going on here? Obviously Sterling stuff. There's just so much like noise coming out of that football club at the moment. It's mental. And by the time we play them on Sunday as well, Joe Felix should be back for his second debut as well.
Yeah, they'll probably have another 10 players in before then. I just don't know. I just don't know what they're doing. Like, you can see, like, maybe they're trying this strategy or trying like stockpile young players and hope they all reach the potential, which, as we know, with football isn't always the case, Dave. But I just cannot understand what on earth they're doing. They've got a squad of like 40 odd players. They're buying young talent from South America or other regions, and now they're like just selling them for less money than they brought them in for. Or that's what the rumours are. I just can't understand like what they're trying to do.
Yeah, there was even like first teamers that weren't even named on the back of the team sheet in the program yesterday because their squad was that big. But I think
the likes of what's the name, Broja, Lukaku, Gallagher, they've all had their profiles taken off the Chelsea website as well.
Just which obviously I get if they're not part of the, because I don't think Fabio Silva's on the Wolves website, but ultimately they're still contracted to the football club. But I don't know what they're trying to achieve. I think in 3 or 4 or 5 years' time, when they get done for some ridiculous FFP or proper sustainability, I don't think one person that follows football are going to be is going to be shocked. Very, very strange strategy that they've got. But I am intrigued, just even as an outsider, for the rest of this window, because they've obviously peed off a few players. You know, Sterling's team put a statement out minutes after the team went out. So there could be some big moves from Chelsea. I'll be intrigued to see if we'd be interested in, which I don't think we will be, just purely on wages and value and stuff, I think, really. But it's just as if Todd Bowley's just chucked an absolute load of money on it without doing any thinking, no strategy in place or anything. So, I'm not sure.
I described it in our group chat, didn't I? And if anyone's ever played Football Manager, you've probably done the same, where you have a save for like 3 months and then life gets in the way. Forget about the save. You come back after 3 months and you think, right, I'll play this again. But didn't realise when you left the game, you'd made like 10 signings and you come back and make another 10 and you look at your squad and think, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I've got quite a lot of players here. That's the only thing I can think that he's doing. But apparently he's not. He hasn't got like a massive say at the club. He kind of leaves a day-to-day running to other people. But I know we spoke earlier in our chat about Carney Chukwuemeka potentially leaving Chelsea, which would have been all over. But then there's reports, and stress their reports, he's on like 140 grand a week.
Yeah.
Like how is that possible? What has he ever done in football to warrant that kind of money? Well, fair play to him. He's gone and got it, but you're never going to leave, are you, when you paid that sort of dough?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
But, so I would have liked the centre half as well, Chalobah. I think he would have been a great signing, but again, it's wages. How are you going to? Well, and also, if you're leaving Chelsea, do you want to come and play for Wolves? Got to kind of. But it's true though, isn't it? You're a young lad and you've come through the team at Chelsea and you've done well and have been ostracised. Are you going to be motivated to go and finish mid-table with Wolves?
There's players that have retired. Like Izzy Brown was one that used to play for Chelsea, and he
shared a hot tub with him.
Yeah, have you? I don't know if it was. Hopefully, you were clothed.
Why would it be clothed in the hot tub?
No, you know what I mean. Your track record, mate.
Was I naked? No.
Yeah. I don't know if it was injury related, but he obviously retired when he was like 23, 24. But the
His
issue
Achilles
I think
went in there.
his knee, yeah, his
with
knees.
him,
wasn't it?
though, at 18, when he went to on loan at Rotherham, who'd just come up to the Championship, there were lads there of his age who were rocking up with Vauxhall Corsas, and he rocked up to Rotherham in a G-Wagon. So, like, straight away, when you're looking at stuff like that, you're thinking, I know. I mean, the money's the money. The wage is what you're given. I mean, he ain't going to complain, but that's the world these lads have been living in since the age of 16, 17, 18. So you're right, as soon as you say Wolves want you, but you're going to be on maybe 75% of what your wage is, they're going to, turn their nose up at it. So
It's just like, I don't know. And perhaps we're completely misjudging the situation, and every footballer is the utmost professional. But when they go and say if you've been at a big club and you're on big wages and you get moved to Wolves on less money and you're not really fighting for anything. When they go and get stuff, you think like, can I really be arsed? Yeah, can I dig in here?
I think that's probably
But the
part
whole
of the
place-
reason about the Chalobah deal. I know obviously they offered us him and Datra Fafana in a swap deal, but a lot of people was like, why have we not looked at that deal? But ultimately, for Wolves, they do not, and they can't afford to have players that don't want to be at the club. It's all well and good us accepting that deal and brokering it with Chelsea, but if Chalobah doesn't necessarily want to be here, there's no point in doing it.
I would have, I would have liked that though, without the things we considered.
Mm.
Jord, danger men for Chelsea. Pedro Neto, one of them. I watched him at the weekend. Well, kind of flittingly. They had it on the gym, and I saw him come on. And thought, I'll sit down here and have a watch of this. But he tried to make things happen a little bit. But I suppose against a City team, the pitch was very compact by the time he come on. But
Yeah, I mean, well, we obviously know he's a quality footballer if he's fit. So that's one. But then again, like I said earlier, like you could literally go for that Chelsea team and go, could cause problems to a lot of these individuals. So how they're going to do it as a team? Like I think obviously Cole Palmer, he's up for leader say less after what he did last year and what he did for England in the Euros when Southgate put him on. I think Kunku's lively. I think Enzo, Caicedo. God, there's
thing
so
is,
many. Isn't
they've
there?
just got an
Felix,
embarrassment of
when
riches,
it
haven't
comes
they? And it's just, it doesn't seem to be
Yeah.
coming together. I think the Maresca appointment is
I don't
what,
think he'll do this season. I don't. I think
6-year
it's
deal,
such a poor
5-year
appointment.
deal.
Yeah.
He basically should have pissed the championship last year with Leicester, and he almost fucked it at the end. And I think Leicester fans were like wanted him out, and they won the league. Like it says everything, doesn't it?
Yeah,
No, of course. But
I feel I don't feel sorry for him because he's going to probably get the can. I mean, talking about this after one game, get the can and get paid off handsomely. But I feel like he's gone into a situation when he's just been told, right, you're the executioner here. You've got to tell these players like Sterling. By the way, you're not in my plans. Despite the week before saying he's in my plans, it's just it seems a mess. But nonetheless, Dave, they've got an embarrassment of riches. If it all gels together on Sunday, Wolves could have a long day in the office. I thought last season under Poch, Molineux, they zipped the ball around wonderfully, but it was just that cutting edge that we're missing. How do you fancy Wolves' chances the weekend? And would you make any changes? Maybe Cunha in for Hwang if he's fit?
Yeah, I think, you're right about Chelsea. I think even against City yesterday, there was a couple of times they were on the break, and for whatever reason, I just think his final decision making or whatever, the correct passes didn't happen. I think Chelsea will always be the game. At both games last year, I was concerned about them, and we came out on the winning side. So, if we hold firm, we take our chances. We have every chance of coming out with 3 points, and I really hope we do so. This time last year we were worried about our opening fixtures, and we turned Molineux into that little bit of a fortress. We had a few teething problems the first couple of games at home, but then we played really well. But I'm hoping we can get some points here. In terms of changes, I think Cunha's got to come in, either for Bellegarde or for Hwang. I wasn't overly impressed with Hwang at Arsenal, to be honest. Like I said earlier, I think he overplayed it at times. So if we either keep Bellegarde in there and either play him off the right or just have that fluid front three with Gomez, Cunha and Bellegarde sort of moving in between each other, and I think we might have a good chance.
One thing that I forgot to mention about the Arsenal game is, and I think it's something that we do need to address in the transfer window, that's if anything gets addressed from the Percy article. I feel like we lack blistering pace. No, Rodrigo Gomez is meant to be quite quick. Without no Cunha on the pitch, we almost feel like quite easy to just step onto. Whereas last season when you had the threat of Neto and Cunha on the pitch, it it gives teams a little bit of more to question. I just think we're lacking a bit, to be honest. Just feel like, you know, you're always a threat in transition, aren't you? Whereas I thought against Arsenal, we just weren't. So yeah, I think that's one for us to consider. But against a team like Chelsea, I think it would be perfect. I think we'll have a little bit more of the ball, which should play into Strand Larsen's, you know, into his favour, trying to build that relationship with Cunha. And I do think that will come good, but I don't want him to rush Cunha into the match, George, if he's not ready, because we've seen last year what that can do with players, and it seems to be a reoccurrence of a hamstring injury as well. So I'd rather get him right and have him for most of the season than rush him back the first 2 or 3 games.
I'm the same, but I feel like because we've lost Neto now,
who else we got?
It's even more reliance on Cunha, isn't there? Now, and that's the sort of the problem. I mean, you can't say we can't rely on Strand Larsen at the moment. We can't rely on Rodrigo Gomez at the moment because they're just new to the league. So it's not saying we won't be able to, given it 10 games time, go, you know what, we can rely on these, they're proving it. But at the moment, I feel like he'll be forced into just putting Cunha in from the start and hoping he's okay. Because, I mean, when he come on, he didn't look sharp. He didn't look his usual self for me against Arsenal, really. And it's concerning. Like, I'm the same as you. I'd rather just wrap him in cotton wool till he's ready, but he's going to want to get points on the board, Gary O'Neill, and rightly so. So I think he'll start.
We'll see. George, you're not going to the game. Dave, will you be going?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. See what happens. I'm sure I'll get some sarcastic comment about a season ticket, but we move. Yeah.
Well, we discussed it on the last podcast. If anyone's interested in going back and listening, we did all come clean about our situations. I think it's that transparency is important, especially when they're giving the club a bashing. Are you going for a few beers before or after Bank Holiday Monday, isn't it? So I know you don't work Mondays anyway, but
yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'll see what happens. I'll probably drive. Well, yeah, I might have a couple of beers. See what
it's 2 o'clock kickoff, isn't it?
Yeah.
2, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Cheeky Greg's and a beer. Who knows?
What's your go-to, Greg's?
I could eat flipping everything at Greg's. I could.
Absolutely.
I like if in terms of like a sandwich or a baguette, I have they do that southern fried chicken, but it's like on a barbecue sauce, which is quite nice.
Okay.
But then in terms of the
pastries,
man, I don't dislike the pizzas as well, but pastries, I don't dislike a sausage, bean, and cheese melt. To be fair.
That's so disappointing.
I could eat like I said, I could eat everything there though.
I know, but then you go and say like the first thing that comes to your head for pastry's got beans. In it.
I just like I don't know, man. I just like the sauce.
I'm not a big fan of beans, you know. I'm more of a spaghetti hoops man. If I have to pick between the two,
you love the British culture meal of turkey dinosaur, smiley faces,
mate. British tapas, you can't beat it. George, if Greg's, what you go to? Name me top 3 Greg's pastries, going from 3 to 1.
I'll pull 3.
Do Americans know what we're talking about? It's like I don't even know an American comparison.
GR eggs.
GR eggs.
It's basically a shop that sells sandwiches, hot pastries like sausage rolls, steak bakes, chicken bakes. It sells
donuts, cakes,
donuts. Yeah, it's almost like
it's like a fast takeaway on your lunch, isn't it? Really,
it's like Dunkin' Donuts if they did like
Dunkin' Donuts.
If they did like hot pastries.
All right. So I'll give you my 3. So I'll go with a cheese and bacon twist or whatever they're called. Cheese, bacon, and turnover.
Yeah.
Number 2. This is tight, really. I'll go for a steak bake. Number 2.
Nice.
And number 1, and to be fair, steak bake could be 2, but number 1, I'll go for the old-fashioned traditional sausage roll. I think.
Sausage roll. That's sitting on the fence again. He's been spending too much time with Dave. have you ever, before we go on to the Percy article, which is going to bring the tone down slightly, but you know it's good to get these are why people join and listen to the podcast. This is if you go on YouTube and you watch most replayed, there'll be a peak like that. Have you ever tried a vegetable bake?
No.
I've tried it by mistake, right, and it is very good. It's got cheese in it. I think it was very gooey.
I can imagine them being quite nice, actually.
They're actually very nice, yeah. But it's not in my top 3. I know no one asked, but I'm going to tell you.
Same.
I'd probably say number 3, I'd go with the sausage roll.
Mm.
And number 2, me and Jordan will be number 2, steak bake.
Yeah.
And number 1, it's got to be the chicken bake.
Yeah.
With the creamy filling. Oh, I love. I know someone's going to click that up. Like cream, like a creamy chicken pie, or
I know what
like
you mean. Yeah.
yeah. I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, chicken.
My missus likes the vegan sausage roll.
Is she Mrs. Vegan? Is she?
She's one of them that dabbles. She gets in and out until you offer her a bacon sandwich. One of them.
Oh.
So she goes, I don't eat beef. I said, and I bring up Miller and Cott. Oh yeah, I'd love a steak. And they're like, what? Mm-hmm. So it's one of them.
Yeah. My missus is a bit like that. She's like, won't have a steak, but we'll have like beef chili con carne.
Yeah.
So, oh well. But yeah, that was our Greg's top 3. We'll be back next week with another fast food superstar.
Hang on, we haven't heard of Dave's top 3 yet.
We have,
mate. I'll just eat anything there. I ain't got a top 3.
Well, you said the.
I'd probably say that in no particular order. If I had to go in an order, if I had to go in an order, in no particular order, it'd be sausage, bean, cheese melt, the pepperoni pizza, or that baguette that I just mentioned, the sun fried chicken baguette.
I've never tried the southern fried chicken baguette. I wonder if it's similar to the one they used to have on the Tesco meal deal. With
you get it warm because they warm it up though. They warm it up as well.
Oh, okay.
And I like the wedges. The wedges are nice there.
They do like little chicken poppers as well, don't they?
Yeah. The wedges are nice at Greg's there.
I'll tell you what's actually all right at Greg's, and people are going to spit the drink out. The coffees. Genuinely.
No, a lot.
Little flat white, £2 on the app. Bosh. You can't beat it.
I got a free pastry actually. I got a free pastry for Sunday. So
free pastry for Sunday, mate. You're gonna have such a good day.
I know.
Flat white, free pastry.
I'm in a good mood, man.
Unfortunately, that is the end of the Greg's chat. I'm sure you'll be all disappointed, and we're going to talk about something which is on a level of importance. It's the news that broke today by the Telegraph reporter John Percy. For those who don't know John Percy, he's a very reputable journalist who's pretty much bang on with Wolves news. But it is a very strange article. The headline is Wolves plan to spend only a fraction of the £94 million bank from major sales amid financial. What's the rest of the title? It's stopped loading. For financial concerns. So the tweet says Wolves' budget for the remaining transfer money will be all around about £20 million, despite banking 90 plus million from Neto and Kilman sales. Centre back the priority. Budget will increase if fringe players sold, but Wolves determined to safeguard financial position. So when this broke, obviously Twitter went into meltdown, which is understandably so. But I just don't understand why this news has come out. If I'm totally honest, I personally, my view is, and clip this up in 2 weeks' time when we sign fucking no one, is it's come from the club, right? Because that's where most of the journalists get the news from. It's come from the club, and it's either been used as a tool to ward off any kind of clubs who we're trying to buy players from saying, well, we know how much money you've got. Or it's to temper Wolves fans' expectations of what they're expecting for the next 2 weeks. So I think probably speak for all of us, if not most of us, when I think, well, we've got 50 million in the bank now. I want to go and see him spend 50 million. So I personally think, Dave, it's one of those two. Because when has a club ever come out and shown leg in the press to say this is our transfer budget? Never.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of everything. I think you saying that, I'm sure we've mentioned this probably last season when you had Newcastle with their takeover, and it was so well reported how rich these owners were. And as soon as Newcastle tried to go into the transfer market, they struggled because everyone was just overpricing their players because they knew Newcastle had money. So with this, I think it is to, show the fans, to lower their expectations slightly. Probably, and like you said, with other clubs, probably asking us for so much money when they realise we probably haven't got much. What doesn't quite add up to me in regards to this is why would we be bidding 5 million plus for Bastian Moipiu? That's nearly 25% of your budget, which is getting knocked back. And I don't think Wolves will go up to the 10 million, don't get me wrong, but that's still quite a big chunk of your supposed budget. So unless they have a feeling that outgoings are on their way anyway, but it's difficult with this because I think with Gary O'Neill being so vocal in pre-match and post-match press conferences, and even in official Wolves articles, he's sort of hyping up the need for a replacement winger and a replacement defender. Obviously, Wolves fans, when it's not coming or it's taking a few days and no news, they're going to get stressed out and they're going to get annoyed about it. But then also, when you look at if you're taking into account the Strand Larsen signing becoming permanent, Wolves would have spent roughly about £50 million this window, including Strand Larsen. With the Kilman and Neto sales, you've made about just shy of £90 million if you include Maidstone's money coming out of it as well. So in total, Wolves' profit is between £35 and £40 million. I think you'd be daft if you expected Wolves to spend every penny of that £35-40 million. So I think 20 to 25 is probably not far away from what I would have expected anyway, to be completely honest. But it still is frustrating. And I think
seems weird that it's come out though.
I agree, and I think the article is fair and it makes sense. Like, even in terms of a winger, I don't think Wolves will be panicking. Obviously, we want to get a winger, and we all do. We know, we can see what the hole that Neto has left. But ultimately, while you've still got Pedence, Chiquinho, Guedes and Fabio, and I have no doubt one or two of those will stay, but whilst you've still got them on the books, you've probably roughly still got, give or take, 150 grand-ish on wages still at the club there, which aren't being covered by other clubs like they have been previously. And that is a lot of money. And then in terms of value, you've probably got about 40 to 60 million, depending on your valuations, of players there that aren't necessarily going to be first choice as well. So I have no doubt Wolves will want to move one or two of these on, and then it will give you the flexibility. But the centre-back's the big one. But I said it last week, I think you're going to end up upsetting someone. And if you genuinely want to find someone better than what we've got now, you are going to have to spend another 30-40 million, I think, personally.
I don't. I think you probably find someone for 20-25 million.
But are they from where, though? Are they necessarily going to want to join? I think Wolves have just sort of restricted themselves by saying we want someone Premier League proven or played in the Premier League. I think that obviously does restrict your window a little bit. But I don't know. I'm sort of with you. I think judge it in the next 2 weeks. We've been in this position before. It's all doom and gloom. And then on deadline day or the last few days, you sign some decent players and everyone's, oh, yeah, that's a solid 7 or 8 out of 10 window then. So yeah. I'd give it a lot of time. There's still a lot of players that have to go. Fabio has to go. I think there was 17 million quoted today, which is, mate, I would snap your arm off for that right now.
Fuck it. Not even you'd value him at 17 million.
If someone offered 10, I'd be like, sound.
You're getting 7 million for all him tops.
Yeah, but, so, yeah. Obviously, it's frustrating as a fan. I want to see rumours and news as much as everyone else does. And I think, unfortunately, we sort of went so quickly into the window and everyone's thinking, and including myself, thinking, yeah, we've been proactive this year, get in. And then it's just gone off a cliff. There's no rumours, no news, no movement, nothing. So we'll wait and see. But I have confidence there'll still be at least another 2 deals before the end of the window.
I think it doesn't, and again, take it with a pinch of salt, but I feel like there's a reason the articles come out, Jord. I think with everything around the kind of like distance between the club and the fans, and I still think there's a massive chasm between the two. With the season ticket prices, I know they've backtracked on kids' prices, and then the single match day tickets. I just feel like it's, again, just more bad news for Wolves fans in terms of, well, it's not a good news story, is it?
No, it's not. And I think to echo 2 points you've both made there before I say sort of my thing on it. First of all, I think it's right. You only judge a window at the end of it. There's still 2 weeks to go. Let's judge it at the end, first and foremost. Secondly, we were very proactive pre-Euros, where a lot of clubs weren't. So, Strand Larsen, Rodrigo Gomez, Pedro Lima was all done pretty much before the Euros, or maybe in the first week or so of the Euros. Yeah. So we got 3 editions in before people have even blinked. So that's something I'd caveat as well from a Fosun perspective. My concerns massively with this is that I feel like, I mentioned it last week, I feel that you almost have to have like a net spend of £100 million at the moment in the Premier League just to stand still. And I'm not saying we're going down or any scaremongering like that, but it will catch up to us soon if we keep basically going on the cheap and skinting it, really, and sell your best assets and not replace them as well. Like, I know that's sort of the model we want to go to a little bit in terms of the Brighton model: buy cheap, sell big, all that sort of stuff. But Brighton this summer, they've sold 30 million quid's worth, and they've spent about 150 million, haven't they, already, on talent and stuff. And you can tell they're trying to do stuff. And I'm not saying that, I mean, Brighton have been doing this for a long, long time, but we're not a million miles away from Brighton in terms of where fans would probably put us, right? And Brighton are in a better state than us right now. Just get that out there before that gets clipped. But Brighton will come no higher than 8th. I think we can finish no higher than 9th or 10th myself personally. But they're just moving completely differently, right? And I think my fear is we will get swallowed up at some point. And you sort of take your foot off the gas and you think, you know what, we're fine, we're comfortable. And then one bad window, you're miles behind the pack where you should be, and you're shitting yourself, and then you end up overspending in January, like we did when Lopetegui come in, when we spent 50 odd million quid on Cunha, Gomez come in, Lamina. That was all panic buys, really. It was educated, but it was panic. That you don't normally act like that in January. So I'm sort of going to sit on the fence for now with Fosun, but I think when you add the season ticket stuff in, single match day ticket prices, they're taking the piss out of us massively as fans. Really are taking the piss out of us if it's true. And I think to an element it will be true, and that's why I'm not going full hog yet. If when we're doing the transfer deadline special in a couple of weeks and this doesn't change, there's massive problems. I just think, I'm going to give him a little bit of rope for now in terms of there's still 2 weeks to change it. And I'm same as you, Dave. I think we'll get at least a couple through the door, and naturally, I mean, Pedence, he wants to go to Saudi. That come out today by Ben Jacobs.
I think Sarabia could go as well, personally.
I think Sarabia is going to go.
I think it's time.
I saw a couple of people saying they wouldn't want that, but he's on a massive wage, and he's
got to be on
the most. He's on the most, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's the highest earner, and I don't think he doesn't get on my team.
He could be. I know we got a lot of assists last year, but you could put that money better elsewhere, personally.
I agree. Yeah, if you can make a profit,
let's say
he's on. Well.
I was going to say, let's say hypothetically speaking, he's on $100,000 a week with bonuses. Let's just hypothetically say that.
I think he's probably not far away from that.
If like Wolves, it goes with what I said about Neto last week. We can't have a player on $100,000 a week that
sits on the bench.
Will start 15 games a season for us. It'll come on occasionally. Like, they need to be our star player ultimately. So I think he'll go as well. I just think I actually like Sarabia as a footballer. I've said it many times before, but I think there's just that if he's on that sort of money, we can't afford to have $100,000 a week player sitting on the bench every other week. They need to be our star man, and I think it's just get him off the books and use that wages elsewhere.
I agree. I also think as well that, and again, it's something that I know, it's just another theory, is that Fosun now are wanting to get a bit of money back via player trading, because they've pumped a lot of money into the club and they've written off a lot of debts. Some say have spent the money quite poorly. Some would say, well, you've had the likes of Neves and Jota and whatnot. So I get that, but I think this is their way now of starting to reclaim a little bit of dough without selling the club, personally. And that's why we're seeing those kind of 20, 30 million pound profits in the window. But I think it will catch up with you at some point. And I think the only saving grace is this year as well, that the 3 teams coming up, I think, are probably going to go back down. Leicester are going to get a points deduction. So
I think the issue is with it as well, and I agree to, I do agree with that as well. I think that, and we've said it's boring hearing it, but Fosun are happy for us just to be treading water at the moment, and somehow, because they always manage to do it, if we start to struggle, they'll pull something out of the hat and we'll be okay again. But why can't we? We're just a couple of top signings away from jumping back up into that conversation again. I just think, we're just and I like Totti and I like Bueno, I like Dawson, but you get add an elite centre half in there, just a couple of signings a window, and I think the guys that we've signed already have been are good players. I think a couple of top signings and you're back in the conversation again, and it's just frustrating now that, and I know with COVID and stuff, their sort of forecast of what they wanted Wolverhampton Wanderers to be is completely different, but like you've said, I think, George, before, they're happy for us to finish 17th every season in the Premier League.
Yeah, of course.
As fans, it's frustrating.
My only fear with it, right, is we've got like say Mateus Cunha. There's been links today with PSG. João Gomez links to like Liverpool, Tottenham,
Spurs, yeah.
Aitnery, Liverpool. Like these players are good enough to go and play in these teams and go and win stuff. Like if they're, do they just come to if there is no sort of, you know, we're not challenging or there's no sort of direction. Those players will get fed up as well and go, you know what, I'm off. What's the point? Because
I think there's an element of that anyway. But everyone is a selling club, right? Everyone has to
for the right
sell.
money, yeah.
Yeah. For the
Every Premier League team's going to have players like that. It's just up to us to add to that as well. I think Bruno Lage used to say it a lot. And at the time, you're like, okay, yeah. And he's like, well, to keep your best players, you've got to sign good players as well. Ultimately, Wolves just haven't. They have done it, but not on a good enough level, I don't think.
There's a couple of fears that I have, and I know it's first game of the season. We're kind of all jumping to conclusions after one article. We'll probably go and sign 2 players tomorrow, but kind of as a trend over the last couple of years, one of my fears is we're going to run out of luck in terms of shifting players on and bringing new players in, like a Southampton. You know, when they went through that period of like any kind of decent player, they flopped and they went down. Another fear is. And it's already, for me, it's already a kind of a genuine feeling. And you might call me fair weathered. We finish 13th, 15th, 17th, 15th, 17th every single season. I won't be asked to go. Most of Wolves fans won't be asked to go. It becomes a completely sanitised atmosphere, and you become a nothing club. And that isn't one of my fears because it is boring. Like you have nothing to play for come March, and it's crap.
Yeah.
Some fans might think what's he on about, like, you know, a bit of perspective, and I do get that, but that is another one of my fears personally.
Well, it's not just that as well. I was going to say it's not just that as well. Like we've mentioned, Wolves versus Chelsea a couple of years ago. TV, not TV. Tuesday night, Friday night, Sunday, whatever, would sell out like that. Like the fact it's still on general sale now. Again, it's like you really think that come February, March time, and again, I haven't got the fixture list in front of me. We've got I don't know, Brentford at home in March, and we're about 13th, and the tickets are like 55 quid. Who's paying 55 quid to go and just like you're just not doing it, are you? I'm not being funny. You're not paying 55 quid to go and watch Wolves Brentford in like a game that means nothing.
Yeah.
And that again's a problem. We're almost like early 2000s Charlton or a Blackburn at that time, where you're just sort of just doing this. You're just in no man's land, and it's fine. And you know, I'm not one of the. I'm not mad enough to go. You know what? I'd love to go down the Championship and win some games because it's horrible down there. The football's crap.
You could
can get
say
stuck
that,
down
and yeah,
there.
you go down,
It's a
you get
problem.
sucked in, and you don't get back out of it. That's your issue there.
It's a horrible thing. You don't want to do that, but I do generally feel like what you said, Matt. I feel like we could get to a point very, very quickly where we become extremely sanitised and just a bit of a meh. But like what Palace have done for many years as well, and again, not discrediting what Palace have done, but it's not exciting, is it? After like 10 years in the Prem for them, for example, whatever.
Maybe it's easier said than done, but I just genuinely think you just stick your neck out. I think I've said this maybe at the end of last season. I think Fosun have sort of scarred themselves over trusting Jorge Mendes a bit too much, mainly with the Fabio and the Guedes deals. And they're probably thinking now, look, I don't want to put that much money on one asset now, which is completely fair. But I still think you chuck that bit of money or take a risk on a couple of players, and it genuinely could work out in your favour. But I just think they're scared to do it. Well, so with Jorge Mendes deals, I think on paper, you look at Neves deal, somehow made a profit on Nunes, Jota, Neto now. I think, you know what, fair enough. You know, he helped us get those players at good prices. We've sold them for a lot of money, whether he wanted to or not. But certainly, you know, you're not going to forget the Fabio Silvas and the Gonzalo Guedes, who, if they both do leave this summer, you're not going to get a lot of money out of. So, I don't know. As a business, Fosun are going to be happy with us finishing 17th plus every season. But as football fans and the football side of things, we are slowly going backwards.
I think you hold on to the. I know we were fucking moaned about him at the time, or I certainly did. You hold on to those days under Nuno where you've got something to fight for. You're going into the final day, and like there's a potential you could get like a 7th position. And yeah, it's just not like that anymore. And it just it comes to a point, and we spoke about it before, and I'm also at that point where it's like I can. It's at the end of Feb. I can go and watch Wolves play, and we've got a 14-year-old starting up front because of completely depleted the squad. Or I can go and spend some time with my family, or go to the gym, or go for a nice walk. I'm going to pick that.
I'm exactly the same. I was literally about to say this time 3-4 years ago, I had to go to every away game, had to, and now I have no immediate plans to go to any away games yet. I'm not going to Villa. I'm not doing Forest. I have no plans whatsoever.
But you know what? Fair play to those who do it every fucking week.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And, I would say, I'm fair weather, hands up. But I can't justify it. If you can, for a lot of people as well, I don't think it's about the football. It's a chance to go on the piss with the mates and, just have like a nice day despite the football. But fair play to them who do it. But I'd rather just prioritise other things.
Well, and it's not that I don't love Wolverhampton Wanderers, because I do, but certainly now it comes into it where, especially going into more serious adult life, you value things, especially with the club where it is at the moment. You value things such as family and friends or money a lot more than what maybe we did back then, because you enjoyed it more back then as well. So you did prioritise it. But
I also think if we got to like March and we were like 9th or 8th, then that would completely change. That would completely change.
Of course, it would, yeah.
Yeah, but
definitely.
This feels like it's gone a little bit negative considering it's first game of the season. But the article was
about the football though.
No, I thought the article was very, very strange, considering the timing, and it's obviously come from the club. But anyway, we'll move on to people's questions. So we've got one from Gully, Musings from Molyneux, friend of the pod. If you keep only one of Gedge or Pedence, who are you going for and why? For me, it would be Pedence, because I just think he's probably the one out of them two who wants to stay a bit more, and he's more experienced in the Prem, which O'Neill wants, and he's got that little spark of something which I don't necessarily think we've got at the minute.
Yeah, I probably agree. There's not much between them, but I think in terms of, I probably feel like I'm going to get a bit more out of Pedence, I think. So, I'd go with that as well.
George?
I'm going against you both. I'd go Geddes. I'd keep him around. I think he offers us, I think he covers more positions for us, for one. And, I mean, Pedence, again, like, he was sort of twerking for Olympiacos. I just don't think Pedence stays. I just don't think Pedence wants to be here. And I think Pedence not playing and starting football games, he'll be more problematic behind the scenes.
Good point.
Than Geddes, in my opinion, anyway. But there's not a lot in it.
Yeah. Europe, here we come. As who do you see leaving before the end of the transfer window? Right. I think I'm going to throw a curveball in at the end as well. Geddes, Pedence, Chiquinho, or Sarabia, Santiago Bueno.
Oh.
I think he could go on loan somewhere. Personally, I just think if they get another centre half in,
it's so daft to do that, though, wouldn't they?
I think.
The only reason they do that is if they got a centre back in and they got that Moi Pugh in as well.
Yeah, I just think I was saying that you can't rely on Dawson, can you? Here because he's been crocked for like 6 months. He keeps getting little knocks here and there, doesn't he? So
I think Bueno's too good of a footballer. Not necessarily. I'm not saying he's a Premier League starter week in, week out. He just feels like too good of a footballer to be sat on a bench somewhere, doesn't he? Santiago Bueno.
Agreed.
I'd probably agree with the names there. And if those go and you haven't got at least 2 or 3, and then there's something seriously wrong.
Curtains.
I'll go with Pedence. I think Pedence, Sarabia,
Fabio as well.
Fabio
obviously.
Silva.
Yeah.
Fabio Silva. My curveball, which I mentioned to you guys offline last week after the pod, thinking I meant to say it and I didn't. I think Nelson Semedo could go as well before the end of this window.
It's not a bad shout.
He's a good shout. Good shout. I'd be disappointed.
I don't want him to go, but I just think 1 year left. Yeah, Sarr as well, potentially.
Yeah.
Question from Matthew Cooper. It's for Dave as a party, actually. Aaron Ramsdale to Wolves. Is there any interest?
There's interest. It's a maybe.
So it's not a
No, it's not an as a party, no.
That's an absolute.
Yeah, there's interest, but I think Jose Sarr has made it no secret that he wouldn't be against leaving Wolves, and I think
Liam Keane said that
Liam
on
Keane
the
spoke
podcast,
about it as well. So I don't think he's made, but I think ultimately Arsenal are going to want a lot of money from Wolves for Ramsdale.
Rambo.
Yeah, the Ramsmeister General.
Yeah.
I think a deal, if Arsenal are desperate towards the end of the window, a deal could be Bentley going the other way and Ramsdale coming in on loan. But then you've got Ramsdale or Sarr being number 2, which I just don't think would end too well. But definitely genuine interest from Wolves in him anyway, which I'm intrigued by. I'm not completely sold on Ramsdale. I'm not bothered so much with his West Brom history or whatever. I'm not really bothered about that.
So, isn't it?
Yeah, but in terms of a footballer, as a goalkeeper, I just don't know how much of an upgrade on Sarr is. I'm just not sure. Just not overly convinced.
Jonah has asked, do you think Jeff Shee will be verbally targeted on Sunday given the season ticket price increases? Uninspiring comments and the Neto money not being reinvested. Well, we don't know whether the Neto money is going to be reinvested. The uninspiring comments have come from John Percy. So I think throw it over to season ticket price increases. I think the potential could be maybe not just to him, but towards that part of the ground. Say if we're like 3 or 4 down, I think it could. But I think if we win the game, then no one says a peep.
Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see it happening. Maybe after the window there might be something like that, but I can't see it happening Sunday.
Yeah.
Be harsh as well. Be too early because if someone starts singing Jeff Shee out, he's going to be fuck you. Then I ain't going to give you no money at all. Before the window. So.
Dale has asked, what do you think Gary O'Neill's stance will be if we fail? It's all positive. Fail to sign players and fill the positions highlighted. Are you worried about him walking?
I'll let Jordan answer that.
I don't think he'll walk, will he? Because he just signed a 4-year deal. It's 2028, isn't it? Is there?
I don't think it's like Hobbs kiboshing things either. I think if they obviously going to them pair, they'd go out and get top targets.
But I think he's obviously going to grow frustrated, and all it'll take is someone to dangle a carrot to O'Neill to be like, we want you, Gary O'Neill, to be our manager. We're going to give you 100 million quid in this window. Do you want the job? And he's like, well, I'll have it, yeah, because I ain't got to pop pissing over here. Or at least that's what's being said at the moment, right? So that'll be tough. If someone comes in genuinely for him and say, we'll promise you this sort of budget, he might want to do it. I think it's one of those things. I think that relationship will wear real thin. You can already tell O'Neill's comments in press conferences. It's already grating on him a little bit. And we're all getting to a point with what happened with Lopetegui, I think, where they've just got, you know what, like, you keep moving these goalposts. Like,
he lost his temper a bit after Burnley, didn't he? Burnley away last year, because I think we knew that game. We had some great chances, and that's when he bit about a striker.
He can be a bit like frosty like that, can't he? A bit of needling in. A little bit. I can see it now, right? Glasner leaves Palace to go to Bayern because they sacked company. Gary O'Neill to Palace. Here we go, confirmed. There we land.
There we land. Oh, bless him.
It's true though. I think it all depends on how well we do this season. I think if we're like 17th, 18th, no one's going to come near with a barge pole, personally.
Yeah.
So I think, if Gary O'Neill goes, I think it's because Wolves are doing well. So, it's not all doom and gloom. Let me find another couple more.
Can't wait till next week, by the way, when we beat Chelsea. We're talking about European push.
Yeah, if we finish 8th, does that mean we could finish it getting Europe? That'll be the questions. Next week. I'll just try and find one more. Andrew Hadfield, what do you think is Ait Nouri's best role position for the team? He's inverting a little bit, isn't it? That left back role. He's slotted inside a little bit more. I don't know if that's because Lamina's dropping in between the centre halves a bit. I think he's better further up the pitch personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want him out wide. I think he causes more problems out wide as well. And that was something I didn't necessarily like against Arsenal as well. Sorry, I know we're going off a tangent on the question, was like Lamina playing deep and then coming in between the centre halves to collect the ball. I feel like he's better a bit further up the pitch, in my opinion.
What do you mean by that?
I must have missed that.
I think,
You know what I mean, though. It's just
no,
I think Lamine is better further up the pitch as well.
yeah, I like Nori's further up as well. I think I know we all know how good he is, his ability on the ball, but I think he was just doing it on purpose on Saturday to show, like, you know, when your missus is in the crowd, he had that type of performance in him. But even when he was further up, the sort of tricks and the flair he was showing, you know, I didn't dislike his performance against, I think it was West Ham at home and Burnley away when he played on as left winger, even as a striker. Obviously, his end product is not there, but I think someone mentioned, and this isn't happening, so, you know, don't get excited. Chilwell coming in on loan and having the ability to play Ait-Nouri further forward, which I wouldn't be against, but, you know.
It's not
Chilwell will be on about 200 grand a week.
And the rest. It's absolutely not happening. You know what? I'm that confident that that's not going to happen. I'll do a podcast naked if it happens.
I'm gonna ring Matt Hobbs right now to get it sorted.
Obviously, we'll pay. If sign him on the only for the week.
So I've just given, you know, go fund me. Sorry, yeah.
Last question, and it's one to finish on a lighter note. Sam Beacon, friend of the pod. Only the important stuff. What's the go-to meal deal?
Oh my!
Meal deals have changed over the years, haven't they? They have changed. They used to be like a staple of British cuisine, and now it's just, you know, you need a club card for a meal deal. What's all that about?
£3.75 now at Sainsbury's. Starmer's Britain, mate. That is.
Oh, £3.75.
Yeah, man. Not happy about that. Yeah, I see. By work, it's a Sainsbury's for me, so I know choices are a little bit more limited there. Back in the day, when I was like a season ticket holder of a meal deal, was cheese ploughmans, cheese ploughmans,
this is left field.
Chili heat wave Doritos, and a Pepsi Max. Now it's
your breath was just stunk.
Nah,
and then he had his meal deal.
Now I'll go with chicken salad, chili heat wave, and a Pepsi Max.
What's on the chicken salad? Is it just like lettuce and tomato?
Yeah, lettuce, tomato, obviously chicken and white bread, and a pack of Wrigley's Extra to appease Jord.
Yeah. I think it's needed.
Get black coffee down me. I'll breath like a history teacher afterwards, mate. Happy days.
Jesus Christ.
That's so true. Why did teachers breath smell so much, man?
Driving breath on a driving to today.
Morning.
Black Americano. What's going on there?
Oh, okay. Now, George, what's your go-to meal deal?
I would go with probably something like a chicken, bacon, lettuce. Yeah, chicken, bacon, lettuce sandwich.
A club.
With. Well, yeah, club sandwich. Yeah, I
club.
don't know why I said that. Yeah, club. And then I would go with either a pack of salt and vinegar discos or a wall sausage roll.
What is going on here?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
You fat bastard.
I know. Yeah. And then I'd go for a full fat Coke or a Capri Sun.
Oh my god!
I know what, a Capri Sun.
Or probably would be a full fat Coke. Really.
You thirsty, John? Little Capri Sun chaser.
Yeah. No, to be fair, it probably would be on a normal day: club sandwich, salt and vinegar discos, full fat Coke.
Yeah. Oh, how do you drink full fat Coke?
But if you've got a meal deal, why you surely take advantage of the most not the most expensive stuff, but like you're picking
naked smoothie.
Yeah.
Sensations.
And a Capri Sun.
Well,
I mean, I don't dislike Capri Sun, but
no, it's just, if it's nice, a real cold Capri Sun, I think there's nothing better than that, or even a real cold Sunny D.
Oh yes,
I love right.
Cheers, Boston.
It's going to shoot.
Yeah, but I think with like a Capri Sun, right? If you've had like a meal deal, it's typically quite salty, like sandwich crisps. Like that Capri Sun's gone before you've even finished your half of your sandwich.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. Like I said, it was probably just throwing the second one out there. Yeah. No, and volume as well. So yeah, you would be a full fat Coke, 500ml bottle, and bash.
Oh no, I'd come down after a full fat bottle of Coke. It'd be horrible. I would have to go for a chicken and bacon sub. Like the peppery mayo.
Yeah.
And then I would probably go for either it depends on the setting, right? If I was in work, I'd probably go for something a bit more calm. But if I was at home, maybe cheese and onion McCoys, or like frame grilled steak McCoys, or cool original Doritos. They're the three, and then I'd either have a Coke Zero or a bottle of water.
Bottle of water, meal deal.
Yeah, I think so. Depend like, don't really want to fill myself full of like fizzy pop. Say if it's like 12 o'clock. Don't know.
I'd get a bottle of pop and just take it home if not. Don't be wasting a bottle of water on a meal deal.
Yeah, I can't drink full fat drinks, so they make me feel awful.
Yeah,
they make me feel absolute shite.
To be fair, ever since I started like the gym kick, I never ever had Coke Zero or Diet Coke like Coke Zero before, but I've drank that a little bit. But Pepsi's always my go-to, Pepsi Max.
They brought a new few Pepsi Max.
I like them all, mate. I like them all. Lime, mango, they're all elite, man.
Yeah.
All elite.
Yeah, I'm more of a Coke Zero man myself. But yeah. So, anyhow, that's all for this week. This has been quite a long podcast. We're trying to make them about an hour, but I just feel like we had quite a lot to discuss. And
so just Greg's and meal deals, yeah.
This is where, if you go back though, this is where we're like the most passionate about what we're talking about. It's like stuff that isn't related to football. It's quite nice. I know everyone else enjoys it, but yeah, it's been a pleasure, lads. I've enjoyed it. Mr. Russell, where can people find you should they wish to follow you?
George Russ 7 on Twitter and Instagram, and Jordan Russell on LinkedIn. I had a couple connection requests last week from, I believe, listeners of the pod. So thank you very much.
I did as well, actually. I did as well. Yeah, it was. I didn't even promote it either, but yeah, That's nice. Will you be on your Instagram? Will you be broadcasting anything from the boardroom's branch in Hamburg?
Possibly. The problem is the wedding's on the Sunday as well. So I won't be on the game day. I won't be out. But we were going to get tickets to watch St. Pauli. So they've been promoted to the Bundesliga, and their games moved to the Sunday at 5:30 kickoff. And you're like, for fuck's sake, they're playing Hoffenheim, so that's a bit crap. So we wanted to try and get some football in. Hamburg away to Hanover, I think, on the Friday night. So it's just a bit shit, really.
St. Pauli's meant to be mad.
They're like the socialisty club, aren't they? I think. But, yeah, it's meant to be good. But yeah, unfortunately, we'll not be seeing it.
Unlucky. I'm sure you'll have a nice wedding now. Dave,
absolutely.
Where can people find you? Should they wish to follow you for more Greg's chat?
At Dave as a Party on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and waiting for Everton to climb up the table to top 8 after that 3-0 defeat, Matthew.
It's fucking early days. It's early days, isn't it? It's first game of the season.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you though. You know that's the Premier League's back when there's a good old fashioned Goodison boo, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, it's just honestly, it's one of the best sights in football. Just a fucking big boo at Goodison.
Right. It was a hot take though. I feel like yours are like Aston Villa to finish in the top 10. Well done, Dave. Stick your neck out, mate.
Don't come at me for mine.
Well, I said Haaland. I said Haaland to not win the Golden Boot. What a start.
Just shows that we know nothing about football. Huh? I'm Matt Cooper Bites on all social media platforms. We are Talking Wolves. You want to keep up to date with all the latest transfer rumours, then follow us on social media. If you're on YouTube, if you like the video, please drop a like. Let us know in the comments down below your favourite Greg's, your top 3 Greg's snacks and your favourite meal deal. If you're on Apple and Spotify, please give us a 5-star review. It really does help us. Yeah. Until next time, enjoy the bank holiday weekend. This is my last podcast for a couple of weeks, so I'm sure I'll leave you in the capable hands of Dave et al. But until next time, have a fantastic week and even better bank holiday, and we'll see you all very soon.